James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end McDonald down the line left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben all the way back to the 2 to the 1. And the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-9. James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end McDonald down the line left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben all the way back to the 2 to the 1. And the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-9. James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end, McDonald down the line, left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben, all the way back to the 2, to the 1, and the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-0.
All right, looks like we are good to go. We are live, ready to go. Welcome in, guys, to this edition of Load the Box Browns. I am Chris Paxitas. That is Eric Mienko. We are here going to talk about kind of what happened in the preseason week 2. Talk about some of the latest news. Not a whole lot of news going on this week. Seems like everything kind of died down from last week during the whole Deshaun Watson suspension finally getting finalized, which I know I'm thankful. I think we already said that last week, so we're really not going to get into it this week. I said I was just thankful that it's over and done with, and we at least know. So
You know it's coming.
Exactly. So really not a whole lot going on this week, just kind of business as usual. Some news that I heard. Well, you know what? Before we get into that, before we get into any of the news, I want to know, Mienko, how was your week?
My week is good. Nothing really too crazy, too bad. Got some stuff done around the house, trying to organize and get some old stuff out, and before we start bringing some new stuff in. So
there you go. That's something I gotta do.
Yeah.
So this weekend I went to Bye Bye Baby, since we got a new one.
Oof.
New one coming. No, it's a good thing we went. I'd never been there before, so I wasn't sure what to expect. And I quickly learned that it was a very expensive place, but we found a pack and play, and it was a pack and play that came with a bassinet and a chain, like a diaper changer.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with me? What is the word I'm looking for? Changing table.
Okay.
Good God. Like, it's not exactly like a table, but it's an area where you sit the baby down and change diaper.
It's like a changing pad station.
Yeah. And it sits on top of the pack and play. Normally $260 online.
Mm-hmm.
They had it there for $110.
That's good.
I was like, bruh, you gotta buy that.
If I had known that, I told you to go to Once Upon a Child. They have stuff there all the time.
Yeah, we're going there next. Because
You
I'm
need to go
not
there.
I'm not
Telling you.
below getting some used stuff, you know. I'm not below that at all.
Heck
The only
no.
thing I wouldn't get used is like a car seat or something, just to be on the safe side.
Definitely not.
That's like the only thing I wouldn't buy used.
Yeah.
But we're probably gonna stop by there this weekend.
I'm telling you, man, they have so many good deals.
Oh yeah.
The one we frequent those. I mean, because heck, with Noah the way he just grows so damn fast.
Oh yeah.
We were trying to buy everything new, we'd be broke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not even 7 yet, and he's already in size 10, 12 clothes.
There
the
you
most
go. Yeah, our daughter, she's kind of the same situation. She's a lot bigger and taller than what most 6-year-olds are, which is kind of crazy considering that she was 5 weeks premature and was 4 pounds when she was born.
And also, you and Kelly aren't super tall people to begin with.
No, well, Kelly's 5'1".
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 6
That's why.
foot. I'm 6 foot, and it's kind of crazy. I everybody thought I was going to be a lot taller than what I was. Like all my doctors said I was going to be at least 6'3", 6'4", because the way I was growing, I grew so fast.
Right.
I towered over everybody in elementary school. Everybody. And then in junior high, I slowed down and they sped up. And I was like, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shaving my face in 6th grade. I was the only 11-year-old shaving his face. I'm not kidding. I had peach fuzz everywhere. I had to shave.
Right.
I had a junior high school teacher who had this, he had like just a goatee, and he has a gap in his teeth like I do, but the gap followed him down. He couldn't grow hair right here. And in 7th grade, I shaved my, well, there you go. 7th grade, I shaved a goatee in that style, just like that. Took the gap straight down. He saw me and he laughed and he goes, "You're not the first student I've ever had to shave their facial hair like me, but you are the first 7th grader," because he also taught high school. He's like, "You definitely are the first 7th grader to ever do it." And
that's funny.
Yeah. So Mark in Cleveland says, "Hey guys, stream looks great." Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it. Welcome in here to Load the Box Browns. We appreciate you coming in here. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the preseason game where your Cleveland Browns dropped a heartbreaker to the Philadelphia Eagles 21-20. First thoughts that come off my head, Josh Dobbs looks like a good backup quarterback.
Yep.
Again, let me say this. This is only preseason, guys. Everybody calm the fuck down. Because I saw some people saying that Josh Dobbs needs to start over Jacoby Brissett. And I couldn't believe that I saw it. But at the same time, I got to sit there and think about it. I'm like, you're
a Browns fan.
Exactly. But no offense to Browns fans. We are not the smartest people in the world. I think we as fans can admit that. And it's okay. Not everybody can be an Adam Schefter out there. Not everybody can be.
I mean, he's got it wrong so many times the last 2 years.
But he's still a good reporter. Let's call a spade here. He's pretty good. Nobody's an Ian Rappaport, and that's okay. But damn, are we really calling for Josh Dobbs to start over Jacoby Brissett? Like, I couldn't believe that I saw that. And Josh Dobbs had a pretty good game. He had a good game, but he's playing against second and third stringers. Damn, he better have a good game. And the thing is, he didn't even throw any touchdowns. He threw now he scrambled. He looked good. He looked good. That was
an incredible play.
Yeah, he had one scramble that was absolutely great. And
Did you see the meme that came from that?
I did.
The cheese stick one, the mozzarella stick one.
Yeah, that was great. Since his like undershirt ripped, I'm like that was fantastic. I loved that. But yeah, he looked good. Josh Rosen looks bad. It looks real bad.
I didn't see anything of what he did.
I fell asleep when he took over, and and I woke up and I was like, oh, what am I missing here? What am I missing? And then they showed his stat lines. I was like, ooh. He finished the game. He went 7 of 20 for 88 yards.
Yikes.
A far cry from the 10th pick overall from the 2018 draft.
I will say I had that one right.
I did not.
I hated Rosen.
I did not. I wanted him for a little bit. Right before I changed my mind about 2 months before the draft, and I was on the Baker train. But before that, I wanted Rosen. But I
was a Josh Allen and Baker guy.
There you go. And you know what? It's a good reason. It's a good thing I'm not a GM. It's a good thing I'm not a GM.
It's also a reason why you're not 1A.
Well, at least now I'm 1B.
I mean, you're the only option to be 1B.
Exactly.
So
I mean, you're gonna have to be at this point. So anyway, we'll get into the rushing game. John Kelly had himself a pretty good game.
Yeah, and he looked good.
And we obviously know that he's on the roster bubble. He's not gonna make this team. Maybe we can get him locked up in the practice squad. We will see. If not, I do hope that he gets this, he signs somewhere and he gets the chance to play, because he has looked good this preseason.
Yeah.
Against the Eagles, he had 14 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Speaking of Josh Dobbs, he had 4 carries, 47 yards, and a touchdown. I think Jerome Ford looked pretty good again. He didn't have a lights out game, I'd say, like he did against Jacksonville, if you will. But
he showed what you're looking for.
Exactly. That's exactly what he did, and I'm a-okay with that. Good on him. I'm excited to see him more in this regular season. The problem is I don't know when we're gonna see him,
right? Or if.
I mean, I obviously I think we're gonna see him on special teams. It's just
have to.
It's just one of those. Where do you put him?
Right.
I mean, can he return the ball? Because fuck, we need a returner.
No, we have Demetric Felton.
I know, but I mean, still, it's nice to have at least another one. Mark in Cleveland says Kelly's been on the practice squad for a few years. I'm surprised he hasn't been picked up by another team yet. I am too. I'm very shocked at that, but maybe this year might be his year, because obviously we know he's not going to make this team this year. It's just,
well, and I think the other big piece of that is, in the years past, he showed up in preseason, but he never really had the chance to play against the ones. And last year, when it was him and Dearness, he looked good.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he never really got the chance to hit the practice squad again after. I don't remember, but maybe he really never got a chance to hit the practice squad again. And if so, I'm surprised he didn't get grabbed up either. But there's definitely some opportunities, I think, around the league as far as teams that he possibly could make.
Yeah.
Or at least take a flyer on him.
I agree with you. As far as the passing game goes, nothing too crazy. David Bell looks pretty good. He had a
couple drops.
Yeah, I mean, it happened. I think it was just nervousness. But I think you got that first game under your belt. We'll see what happens. That's pretty much the gist of it. Defense was whatever. I mean, you got
Couldn't stop the run again.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully that gets.
One thing before we move on, and one thing I will say is, I thought something that was kind of cool, and watching the game, I wanted to see how Schwartz did, and he had 2 plays back to back. Both times he ran like a 10-yard speed out.
Mm-hmm.
The first time he dropped it right out of his hands. I was like, oh god, are you kidding me? Here we go. They went right back to him, exact same play, exact same route, and he made a nice catch. So it was good to see him bounce back, but he's got to make sure that those easy catches are the ones he's making. Because I think that everyone is. I think what you were going to say, but I think everyone is tired of saying he has so much potential.
Yeah.
And then you watch the kid from Philadelphia, who was the track runner. He absolutely blew by that secondary.
Oh yeah, that was.
He flew by him.
Yeah. I'm tired of hearing him. I'm tired of hearing Anthony Schwartz in the same sentence of he made up for that last play. He made up for it. Eventually, you got to just start doing it instead of making up for a really bad play. So Mark says this is a great take, going right back to Schwartz. The next play was a team building play. That's exactly what that was.
It was showing confidence in them. Showing them, hey, we trust you. We know it was a mistake. All right, fix your mistake and move forward. And like you said, Pax, there needs to stop being those.
Yeah.
You're going to have that in the NFL. You're going to have that overall.
Everybody's going to make a mistake. Even the great receivers dropped balls. Jerry Rice dropped balls. And I don't expect Anthony Schwartz to be a Jerry Rice.
No.
But damn, don't be a Greg Little. That's all I'm asking at this point. Don't be a Greg Little.
Which is
why do we keep talking about him?
Standard.
Why do we keep talking about him? That man has haunted me. He has haunted me for years. I still have flashbacks of him dropping passes and then making an incredible one-handed catch and like double coverage. And you're like, you make that catch, but shit, you're open. Nobody's around you for 5 yards and you just drop it.
It's the same thing I've said about David Njoku for a long time.
He has improved. He has improved. He's improved greatly.
Yeah, but his thing was, is you throw him a 5-yard slant over the middle, he drops it. You throw him a a 17-yard pass over the middle. He jumps up, Odell Beckham's it over two defenders and comes down with it. I'm like, how do you not catch the
Yeah.
easy ones, but yet the impossible catches? There you go, right to you.
This is
Got
also,
it, boss.
That's also the same guy who, against Cincinnati, thought he was going to dive from the 4-yard line into the end zone. Did not make it, surprisingly, yet got picked up and essentially carried into the end zone by his team. That was insane.
We were all very confused as to what the hell just happened. That was in the end zone. That was the end zone we were at.
Okay.
He dove. I'm like, what the hell? Is he that close? And then all of a sudden you see him start getting pushed. I'm like, wait. And then you see the ref go like that. Okay, got a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a crazy play. That was I didn't know how to feel when I saw that, to be honest with you. But
yeah, that was a game of emotions. But that game will always be remembered for me for 2 reasons. Number 1, I caught David Njoku's gloves after the game. And number 2 was Demarius Randall.
So I remember, I agree with you. There are 2 moments from that game that I remember very fondly. You took one of them, was the Demarius Randall to Hugh Jackson thing, which was so, it made me feel really good. Mm-hmm. But the other one was the Nick Chubb catch.
Yeah, that was same end zone.
Yeah, that
same end zone. That was crazy. He mossed that defender.
Yeah. I will never forget that, and that just shows how good of a running back Nick Chubb is, because obviously we know he's arguably the best back in the NFL. There's an argument to be made to maybe put him above Derrick Henry. I'm not saying that he is. There's just an argument to be made. But he doesn't get enough respect in the receiving game.
See, okay, here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
Here is something that I have seen as an argument, and I tend to agree, although I think he needs more time to prove it in order for him to be considered the best. Jonathan Taylor is the only back in the league that compares to Nick Chubb as far as productivity goes.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor had 100 more carries than Nick Chubb and only 600 more yards last year. Jonathan Taylor had the same average per carry, so it was like, okay, that average is out. Jonathan Taylor is utilized more. People are like, oh, well, the Browns got a better offensive line. No, they don't. Not when it comes to the Colts. And not when it came to run blocking. The Colts ended up with a better average.
Yep.
So, Jonathan Taylor's an incredible back. And this year, I think he can take it even another step forward with having Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be an interesting offense to watch, but we're not talking about the Colts.
No, we're not.
But yes, I think that Nick Chubb's top 2, and I don't think he's number 2.
Yep.
So
there you go. So I'm going to get into this real quick. I know I brought it up to you before. A couple weeks ago, Joel Bitonio. Why did I say his last name weird? Doesn't matter. Anyway.
That's okay.
Oh, I didn't? Okay. It sounded weird in my head. My bad.
Keep going.
He had said something. He was talking about, I think it was after the Jacksonville game when everybody was booing Watson and everything.
Well, and they were chanting "You sick fuck" is what they were chanting.
Yeah. And he pretty much, Joel was asked about it, whatever. And he made a quote that said, "More than ever, it's Cleveland against the world," which it's God's honest truth. That is, but that's how I feel like it's always been. Always. And he took a lot of shit for it from the media for saying that. And I don't agree with that, because I think he was just standing up for our team. And he was asked about it. And he said, I noticed him, and what I said was, we're going to go to stadiums and we're going to get booed by people no matter who's playing quarterback for us. And as a team, we come out and say Cleveland against the world. If people want to take that in the wrong context or talk about it in the wrong, or if people want to take that in the wrong context or talk about it in the wrong context, that's their opinion. But I know we have good people on this team that are working hard and trying to be the best for the Cleveland Browns, and that's where I am at as a player who has been here for 9 years. And if someone wants to think that I don't love and appreciate things in my life, that's their opinion. But I know where I'm at and where I'm at with the Cleveland Browns, and the people on this team. So there you go.
Well said about the All-Pro.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yep.
I do not want this man to ever leave Cleveland, ever, but I look forward to him being in a Joe Thomas type role when the time comes for him to retire. Joel's been here since 2014, and he has been a constant professional for this team.
Always.
And it is nice to have a guy like that again.
I will say also, he is extremely nice in person.
Yeah.
So when we were at camp, we met him, and he literally stopped and took pictures with every single person along the way. Because obviously he was the big star of all the guys. Jordan Elliott was really the only other name of note that we got that day. And he literally stopped with any person that says, "Hey, Joel, can I get a picture?" Absolutely. Turned around, stood there, got a picture. Next person, "Hey, Joel, can I get a picture?" Absolutely. And he did that the whole way down the line. It's probably 30, 40 people. I mean, we went. So when after we got his autograph, we saw Stefanski. It was about 20 people down from us. We took off down there to try to get his autograph. And Batonio was just slowly making his way down and just taking pictures with everybody. He's a super nice guy. Yeah. Very interactive with the fans, willing to talk. He loves the city. He loves the city. He loves the team. He loves the fans. He's been very open about that. And for anyone to question that would be pretty insane to me. But like you, I really hope that Joel, decides to retire a Brown, because he has been a staple for this team for a very long time.
He has 100%. Moving on. So, I'm only going to bring this name up because it does have relevance right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about Baker for a second. Because he was asked a question earlier in the week. He was asked about since he was officially named the starting quarterback for the Panthers. So the Panthers announced that water was wet and the sky is blue. We all knew he was going to be the starter. Sam Darnold sucks. He was pretty much asked, like, is that week one game, is that going to add a little more extra oomph, extra fire? And he said that he's not really focused on the week one game, but he did say that it'll mean a little something extra to him when the game finally arrives. Myles Garrett was asked the same question. Myles Garrett had a good quote. And I really, 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 really like his quote. It's a very team-friendly quote, but with a little added, little extra, little seasoning right at the end there. And so he pretty much said this. He said, "There's no rivalry there between me and him," talking about between him and Baker, "and there's no rivalry between the Panthers and the Browns. Yes, he was here, but that doesn't mean I have an added sense of urgency to get to him. I want to play my best, and whatever's in the cards, that's what's in it for me. If I can help my team win, if I can put them in the best position to win, I'm going to do that. If I can get a couple of sacks along the way, I'd kind of enjoy that too." And that's great. That's absolutely great.
Mark, I'm taking the over.
Mark says over under 0.5 taunting penalties week one for Baker. I'm not a betting man, but I'm going to take the over for it because I feel like if he makes a play, he's going to go ape shit. And you know what? Good for him. Good for him. Okay. You obviously want to get one up over your old team. That's fine. That's fine and dandy. And I wouldn't mind seeing him throw a nice 30-yard touchdown to make it Browns 30, Panthers 7 with 1 minute and 38 seconds left in the fourth quarter. I would be happy for him. Good for you.
I'll say this. Mark, I think the better bet would be over under 0.5 nut sack grabs by Baker Mayfield towards the Brown sideline.
Man, listen.
Like treating us like we're Kansas again.
That was funny back then.
It was funny.
I laughed my ass off, and then me obviously being a Michigan fan, like the old Oklahoma flag plant in OSU. That was good for me.
Of course you liked it, but then you cried a few weeks later.
Oh, fuck you. You're not wrong, but whatever. I mean, you are not wrong at all. I will fully admit, and I told you that, like, I will fully admit when I think Michigan is bad. And I tell you straight up that, like, oh yeah, Michigan's gonna get their ass beat against Ohio State. Have I not been honest?
Yeah, I think obviously besides this year, I think everyone knew it's gonna be a good game this year.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone expected it.
I'm excited for the. I didn't expect it either. I remember I had to get a brand new tires put on my car I didn't have to get brand new tires. I had a screw get lodged into my tire and I had to go get it replaced. So I was at Tire Discounters and I was getting ready to pull up my phone and I was like, oh, they got the game on, and I'm watching, I'm glued to the TV and everybody's all pissed off yelling and I'm just sitting there with a smile on my face. And one guy looks at me, he goes, "You Michigan fan?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Ugh," and did one of those at me and I'm like, okay, buddy. I'm also a Browns fan. You gotta
let him have 1 year. That's all you gotta let him,
It's about, I will say this, it's about damn time. It's about damn time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I want to ask you something. Oh, real quick, before we get into that, Mark says it depends on how the game goes. We can get into that more as the week gets closer, but if the Panthers get a lead, Baker will let people know about it. 100%. 100%. I wholeheartedly agree with him.
If he makes a pass over Denzel's head, he's going to let him know. If he jukes, say Miles comes at him and he breaks away from the sack, he's going to let him know. If Baker throws a strike down the field, especially to Hollywood Higgins, could you imagine if he makes a big play to Higgins? Oh my God, he would let everybody know. I think the only way he may be safe with that taunting penalty, only because it's in Carolina. Could you imagine if it was in Cleveland?
Ooh.
Oh, he would be letting everybody know.
Yeah.
I think that's the only saving grace for that over-under.
I 100% agree. But yeah, if Panthers win that game, he's gonna have something to say. In the media,
lots of things to say.
And it is what it is.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna come out and go, "Damn it, Tony." That's it.
Jesus, Tony.
Jesus, Tony. There it is.
I'm sure he's happy to get away from Tony Grossi. It was a great day for me, and I almost think of it as a crowning achievement when Tony Grossi blocked me on Twitter. It wasn't like I wasn't like trolling him or anything, but I was just letting him know that he's a dumbass.
He sucks.
Yeah, he's not a good reporter.
No, not that he's not a good reporter. He just hates the Browns.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, so I want to ask you, since we're getting closer to wrapping up camp, we're moving on to last preseason game. I want to ask you, you can give me 3 players if you want, but I'd like to know who are the 3 standouts in camp for you.
Okay, so if we're looking at camp, or are we looking at just preseason games?
We'll say both.
Okay.
You can kind of mix them.
So if you're looking at camp itself, I mean, Greg Newsome's got to be mentioned.
Yes.
Because
he's had a fantastic camp.
He's made plays. I know when we were there that weekend, he had 3 picks. So, I mean, he's been all over the field.
He got love from Chad. He got love from Chad Johnson on Twitter as well. I don't know if you saw that a while ago.
I didn't.
Yeah, he tweeted. He can't remember who he was covering. It wasn't a very good receiver. It was just one of them. I don't want to call him a no name. I cannot remember who it is, and that's kind of telling. But Newsome was all over him, and and Chad Johnson actually retweeted the video, and he goes, "Who the hell is number 20? This dude." Yeah, something along those lines. So I agree with you.
I really, really like Greg Newsome. I think he's gonna take another step forward this year.
Pardon my big ass
keep doubting him.
Pardon my big ass T here.
I'd say second for me probably would be, looking more at the preseason games, I'd say Jerome Ford.
Oh man, you took one of mine. You took one of mine. That's good though. Jerome
And
Ford's been
then
great.
the third one, I'll say, I know he's injured right now, but just seeing what everyone has said, and then also seeing the videos, I'm gonna say Michael Woods. I would love for him to have been healthy to see how he would play in the game, to see if, because I mean, I think we can both agree that our wide receiver room is very mediocre at
Yep.
best.
Yeah, no, I
So,
completely
so
agree with
being
you.
able to figure out, is this guy going to be able to come in and contribute? Obviously, we have space. So,
Mhm.
what's that going to look like? So, I mean, but everyone has talked him up.
Yep. Yep. I agree. So for me, I'm gonna say you took one of mine and Ford, and I wasn't really gonna say Greg Newsome, but I wanted to. But for me, I'm gonna talk about. Okay, so Mark says Ford, Emerson, and York. Well, okay, well he took one of mine because I was gonna say Cade York. So thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah,
But
two of them taken.
let's talk about Cade York for a second. Oh, excuse me. The man has got a damn hammer for a leg. Like,
Yeah.
God, it is. The last time we were able to brag about a kicker was
That was awesome.
was Phil Dawson. And how long ago has that been? It's been over 10 years now, something like that.
Sounds about right.
At least 10 years. He has done so well for this team. He was bombing them, and I know we missed a couple in the preseason. And
we missed the one from 55.
Oh yeah.
But if you listen, if you look what everyone said, I think they said it was like what 3/4 of the way up the field goal post.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was curving back in, and if it would have been from 60, it would have been good. But because it was waiting to curve back in, and as it started to curve, it hit that post.
Yep.
So I mean, hell, if it's good from 55, and you could have been good, or if it was bad from 55 but could have been good for 60, I'd rather know that he can get it there from 60.
Oh,
obviously he's got to correct that moving forward, but I mean, shoot, think of that. Think of the Zane Gonzalez's and McLaughlin's and what was the other guy's name? Cody Parkey.
I got one for you.
I'm thinking the past few years.
I know. Same here. Travis Coons.
That's another good one.
Man, you know what I think of every time I think of Travis Coons?
Daniel Boone?
No.
Just think of the raccoon hat.
No.
Oh, sorry. No, you're not gonna get that out of your head, are you?
No. I hate you right now, but no, I was gonna. All right. No, I was talking about that horrendous Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
I remember where I was watching that because at the time I didn't have a way to watch ESPN. That was before like a bunch of big streaming things had ESPN, so I couldn't watch it then. So I went over to my buddy's house who had cable. He was living with his grandma. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to go over there. It is my friend Josh. Yes, Mark, that's
what he's getting to.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And who is a quarterback? It was Austin Davis that game because it should have been Manziel, but he got in trouble. And so he didn't play. And the game was close, and it shouldn't have been close.
No.
But the Browns played good enough to get it close. And that field goal, and I'm sitting there. I was sitting next to my friend Josh. You were there. No. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
I can't imagine. God.
Oh, my God.
I might have jumped out of that stadium if I was there. I don't know how. God.
Oh, man.
God, like, I don't know how I survived that night. And if you were, like, if I was actually there like you were, I don't know what my reaction would be, but I was sitting next to my friend Josh. And Josh was like, they're going to win. They're going to win this damn game. They're going to win this game. And I'm sitting next to him just like, shut up.
Do that.
Shut up. And I remember Danny Shelton was blocking on that field goal. Who's that other god-awful fucking tackle? Cam Irving.
Oh,
Cam Irving was there too. You know he's actually plays for the Panthers right now?
I think I saw that.
Yeah. And those two were on that field goal team and they were blocking. And that field goal got blocked. And I'm like, what?
There's no way.
This
There's
can't
no way.
happen. This can't
No.
happen. And then it took it for a touchdown. And I just sat there and Joshua goes, no. And I'm sitting there and I was so shocked and dumbfounded at what I had just witnessed. That's a real bad day.
I actually would pay to have seen your reaction. I for anyone that's watching that's never watched a game with you, it's probably one of the most intense and hilarious things I've ever seen in my life. I am not a screamer or a yeller. And I have seen this man chain smoke a whole pack of cigarettes. It was during the
I don't smoke
Oakland
cigarettes
Raiders.
anymore.
Well,
Make
okay,
that
well, either
clear.
way, at that time you were.
Yes.
And you smoked a whole pack of
As I
cigarettes
sit here
during the
vaping.
Raiders game. Yeah. But I'll never forget that. They'd make a play, they get a commercial break, you take off running outside, and you just chain smoke, pacing back and forth. You come back in, they make another play, you run back outside, chain smoking back and forth. I'm like, dude, calm down. I can't calm down. And then the other moment I'll never forget, besides when we went to the game together, was the Buffalo Bills? Or was that Minnesota Vikings?
Depends.
I think it was the Bill. I think it was the Bills. The Thursday night game we watched together.
Yeah,
where
it was
they honored
Buffalo.
Jim Brown.
Yeah, that was Buffalo.
They honored Jim Brown at halftime, and this man is crying alligator tears, just real tears streaming down his face. Talking about how
The
great of
alligator tears aren't real. That's why they call them that. Alligators can't
Whatever.
cry.
Fine, call them whatever you want.
So real
Hail-
tears.
Golf ball tears.
Or it's
Those
actually called
were-
crocodile tears, but whatever.
Whatever. My point being is they were big ass tears streaming down your face talking about how great of a running back he was. I was like, you weren't even alive to watch him. I don't care. I've seen videos. He was great. He's the greatest running back ever. And I'll just never forget. I was just stunned. I was like,
Dude.
I could never turn into this.
I was streaming Overwatch on Twitch back in late January when the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, and I had some Bengals fans that I know come in. They're like, "Yeah, we did it," and I literally turned off the game. I turned on my face camera where it was just me, and you couldn't see any gameplay. And I went on a fucking rant for a good half hour, bitching about how pissed off I was that they made it. And I actually started crying right then and there. And I was like, it's absolute fucking bullshit. I'm like, they shouldn't have made it. They have no fucking right. Fuck them damn fans. Fuck them. They have no right. They have no reason to be at a damn Super Bowl. And how dare you come in my chat, my room, my Twitch stream, and start talking to me about your stupid ass Bengals making. I'm getting all heated again. I literally started crying right then and there. I got so fucking pissed that I just started crying.
Oh my God.
I watched that AFC Championship game with Bengals fans. Now they're good friends of mine. I will say that, and they were respectful to me. I will say that they were respectful to me, and I was respectful to them. But as soon as I got in my car, I started screaming, started punching everything. And actually, one of my friends came out and was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." And he was a Packers fan, so he didn't really care. He had no dog in the fight. But he was like, "It's gonna be all right." I'm like, "No, fuck you. It's not gonna be all right." I'm like, fuck these damn fans. Fuck them damn Bengals. But seeing them losing the Super Bowl made it all better. Because I wasn't gonna actively root against the Bengals for a second. Like I was like, I'm gonna try to just watch the game. It took me all of 2 plays to throw that playbook out the window, and I was rooting for the Rams like they were the Browns.
I was rooting for Matt Stafford to begin with. So I like Matt Stafford a lot,
same.
but...
Yeah, and he deserved that Super Bowl. Okay, I'm gonna give you another guy who I think has looked good in camp, and that's AJ Green. I think he's had a great camp and a pretty good preseason so far. I like his development. You know, he's an undrafted guy, and to see where he was coming from an undrafted player to where he is now. He's obviously he's going to be a second stringer.
Yeah.
But he is going to get his chance to make a few plays on this team. Yes, in special teams, but he's going to be out there for, filling in. We all know that sometimes Greedy and Denzel do get hurt.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a guy like AJ Green that you can rely on when the shit hits the fan. So
Exactly.
I'm proud of the way AJ Green has come together. And if I can't say Greg Newsome or Jerome Ford or Cade York, I'm gonna say Isaac Rochelle. I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
I think
right.
I believe, yeah. He's I tell you what, I know he's been in the league for a minute or two, but he's made some plays and he's got a really good chance of making this team. And it's nice to have some depth right there. I'm excited.
We got a lot of depth right there.
We really do. We really, 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 really do. So I'm excited to kind of see how he looks. I hope that he takes advantage of this final preseason game and he kind of makes a name for himself, and hopefully he can make this team.
If he gets a sack this game, that'd be three sacks this preseason.
Exactly.
At least one each game.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to kind of see what he does, and I hope that he kind of takes advantage of the situation. I'll say one guy that I am also looking forward to seeing in this final game is Tony Fields. Yeah. I'm going to see what he can do as well. That kind of makes me excited. I'm kind of curious a little bit. Mark says, I like Thomas a little more, but it's not hard to root for Rochelle. Yeah, I agree.
I think obviously Thomas has a little more upside being younger, but Rochelle, I think you probably stash Thomas on the practice squad.
Maybe.
But you think about it. That room, you're only going to keep probably 4 DNs,
something like that.
For sure, you have at least probably maybe 5. You have 4 locked up.
Yeah.
You have Clowney, Garrett, Winovich, and Alex Wright.
Yep.
So then who's going to take that last spot? Are you going to keep more than one? Could any of those guys move inside and have inside, versatility?
Yep.
Because if so, I think that gives them the edge.
Yep.
But Curtis Weaver is there. Isaiah Thomas is there. Rochelle is there. There's at least one more guy I can't think off the top of my head that made some plays this preseason. Point being is there's 4 guys fighting for 1 maybe 2 spots.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with this roster.
Yep. I agree with you. I agree. Excuse me. You wouldn't be surprised if Winovich gets cut. I would be lying to you if I said that the thought hasn't crossed my mind. I don't think he will, but we'll see. I think it's a little early for that. He could be one of the, every year there's always a couple of guys who are some surprise cuts, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was one of those. I do think he makes this team.
I think if there's a chance to cut him, they'd want to see him in the preseason games.
Yeah.
And maybe they put him out there this last game just to see what they have in him. But a good point to that is he's not expensive this year. He's a cheap player.
Exactly.
So if they wanted to keep more guys there, they could.
Yep.
I hope they don't cut him. I like Winovich.
Yeah, I do too. And he's definitely a fans player, Yeah. He's definitely I love those guys. It's a perfect
number to be a fan player.
Well, he let the fans choose his number.
I know.
That's what I really liked, and I was one of those guys who voted for 69 as well, because fuck it, we're here for the memes, right? Right. You have to be, as a Browns fan, you have to be here for the memes, because otherwise you're going to go absolutely insane. Trust me, I've been there.
Or otherwise you vote Peyton Hillis to be on the cover of Madden.
Hey, did you vote for Peyton Hillis to be on that cover? Then shut up. I did too. I did too.
I mean, we got
I-
Peyton Hillis on the cover.
he had a good year. He had a good year that year.
He had a good year, but did he really have a Madden cover year?
Maybe.
Oh,
He obviously did.
Get out of here.
He obviously had a good enough year to get on the cover.
Oh.
Hey, them fans came out of the woodwork to vote for Peyton Hillis. I was there. I was voting for him every day. Every chance I got to vote for Peyton Hillis. And you best believe I was there day one to buy that Madden. And you know what? I still have it. I still have it.
I don't have the game. I have the case, though.
I have both the game and the case. I played the fuck out of that game. Because I was also, and you're going to laugh at me when I say this, because you know how big of a fan I was of Brady Quinn, and I think he got the shit end of the stick, and I still think that he could have, should have been a good quarterback in the NFL if given some quality coaching. In that Madden, it was Madden 12, so it was the 2011 season.
Mm-hmm.
I had signed Brady Quinn to the Browns on my franchise mode and trained him up and made him a franchise quarterback. And I was like, this is what you should have been. This is what you could have been. Oh man, I did that so much.
You're like a Dr. Frankenstein with the monster.
Hey. No, but I didn't like go in there and manually change his stats. Like
okay.
I played him. I made him better.
He was your creature.
He was. Man, I remember that. I remember that draft. It was so funny, that 2007 draft. I was like, the third pick, I wanted Adrian Peterson. I was like, give me Adrian Peterson. Cause I knew Joe Thomas. Like, yeah, offensive line would be nice, but I want a playmaker. Give me AP.
Not the sexy pick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the sexy pick, but he is now. Have you seen that man? I'm not gay, but he's a good-looking dude now. He's a good-looking dude. He's slimmed down.
He is small.
Yeah, he
compared to what I mean. I met him his last year. He was in the league.
Yeah.
And he just looked huge.
Yep.
And then I saw him at camp this year, and I was like, is that Joe? And I looked closer, I was like, oh, wow, that's Joe Thomas. Like, he is small.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but Joel had an interview with Aditi during the preseason game, and she asked him if he was going to slim down like Joe, and he goes, no. Basically, he was like, I'm a big guy to begin with. He said, but if I can get down like Joe, I might just try it. And Joe's up there in the booth flexing, and it was pretty funny.
Dude, he's good. I was that guy during that draft where I was a big believer in Charlie Fry. I was ready for that team to have Charlie Fry as their starter. I had his jersey. I had a white Charlie Fry jersey. I did a report on him in my English class. I remember I made a big poster board with cutouts from him playing at Akron and from one of his Brown seasons. I even had a picture of two of the crazy Browns fans that wore fry suits and it said Charlie's Fries. I had pictures of them. I went on and on and on about Charlie's childhood, him growing up a Browns fan to where he was finally getting drafted by the team that he loved. Like, I was all about it. So when they drafted Brady Quinn, they traded back in the 22nd pick to get him. I was pissed. I was like, hell no. I'm pissed. I'm not okay with it. And then, you had the quarterback competition between Derek and Charlie. Charlie won, and then we got our asses annihilated 47-7 week 1 against Pittsburgh. And then Charlie got traded next day. I remember where I was. I was walking into gym class, and my gym teacher goes, "Hey, Charlie Fry just got traded." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, they traded him to the Raiders." I was like, no, they didn't. And he goes, "I'm telling you." I'm like, "No, they didn't." And he pulls it up. And I remember we had shit ass internet there at the school. And it took like 5 minutes for this article to load up. And sure shit, ESPN, Charlie Fry traded to the Raiders for like a 6th or 7th round pick. And I'm like, oh. Well, there's another jersey in the graveyard.
yeah. For you, absolutely. How many games did he end up playing with us?
Who, Charlie Fry?
Yeah.
He played his rookie year, his second year, and then so 2005, 2006, and then 2007 for one game, and then got Das Boot.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me, I know my Charlie Fry. I know Charlie Fry.
So I'm trying to think of when it was that I went. I think he was a quarterback. It was. I'm trying to think. Me and my brother Paul. It was my first ever Browns game. It was a New Year's Eve game at the stadium against the Ravens.
Okay.
It was Deion Sanders' last game he ever played. And I'll never forget that.
Was that
because
Charlie Fry?
I think it was.
When?
I'm almost positive it was, because I remember.
Look up when Deion retired.
I thought it was because whoever it was led a comeback in the fourth quarter to win that game. And I remember driving back from the stadium just high, feeling as high as we could.
You know what? He played in 2004, 2005 for the Ravens. There you go.
Yeah. So, but that was wild because it and obviously being at the stadium, they have those, lake effect snowstorms.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. The first half was okay. The second half, it completely just absolutely annihilated us.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
I've only been to one game at the stadium up there. And that's a real shame. I wish I had gone more. Mark says his was Derek Anderson. He was ready to ride off in the sunset on the back of his horse, and he said Kelly Hulk. Okay, yeah. I did not want Derek Anderson to succeed, because when Charlie Fry got booted, I was like, all right, fuck you, Derek. I don't care about you. Let's see what we got in the old rookie. And then he went out and threw 29 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And I was like, okay.
Maybe I was wrong.
Maybe. And then 2008, he went back to the same old Derek Anderson. Anyway, that 2005 year, the one game I went to in Cleveland, I remember it was 2001. Yeah, 2001 opening day. Went and saw it. My dad took me. It was one of them times we just so happened to be in Cleveland or whatever. I don't know if it was planned, but it worked out for me. Him and I got to go to a Browns game in Cleveland. Saw our Cleveland Browns take on the Jaguars. We lost, but I got to see Tim Couch again, because Tim Couch was my boy. He still kind of is. I still like Tim Couch. But whatever. I did go to a game in 2005 though. That was in Cincinnati. My mom took me to that game. That was a real bad time for me, because I think I was 13. Yeah, I was 13 years old. It was a December game. It was cold as hell, but I was there for it, and I was ready, and I was cheering on my Brownies like I do now. And the bad thing about being me at 13 is I looked like I was a grown man. And so people were cussing and screaming at me. And the Bengals kicked a last-second field goal to win that game, and I was pissed. And walking out of the stadium, a Bengals fan threw a beer bottle and hit me in the head. So that was kind of cool. And I think that's really when my hatred started. Like, I don't know who you are, Bengals fan, and if you're watching, thank you. You started a hatred that will follow me to my grave. So I appreciate that. Wherever you may be. Thank you.
Oh, I'm
so that
with you.
Hey, I don't care, man. I don't care. Fuck them Bengals. Fuck them. Fuck them in the ass. Or whatever. Just kidding, guys.
Okay, all right. On to the next thing.
So, really, I think that's about all I got for today. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I do want to say I really hope that we do see some of the starters come Saturday.
We
I
do.
would
We
I
know,
would
we
like
know
to see some of
Jacoby's
them.
playing. We know that.
Is that for sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Stefanski said last week that Jacoby Brissett will play in the third preseason game.
As of when I heard the show yesterday on Cleveland Browns Daily, they said that there wasn't a definite answer.
See, Kevin
So
said as soon as the suspension came down finally for Watson.
No, they said that Watson wouldn't play in the last preseason.
Well, I knew
game.
that, but I could have swore he said that Jacoby Brissett would play in that third preseason game. Which, did you see what he said? Talking about, he said something about like, are you going to be trying to be Deshaun Watson out there? And he said, it's real easy for me to not be Deshaun Watson. It's like, yeah,
he doesn't have to be.
No, they're two totally different quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Jacoby, I think his speed is underrated, but he doesn't need to do that. He's a big body quarterback. Right. He's your prototypical early 2000s, late 90s pocket passing quarterback. He's what you want.
More mobility.
Yeah, with a little bit more mobility. So,
and a great jumper.
Yes. Mark said he must see starters play half the game. That's what he wants. I tend to agree with that. Maybe not all of the starters.
I'm going for a quarter.
I would be okay with a quarter. I would be okay with a quarter, but I don't want to see any injuries because I still have PTSD seeing Nick Harris go down second snap of the first preseason game. Boom, just like that, starting center gone. And then boom, another center gone, just like that. Dawson Deaton. Jordan Hawthorne is in here. Let's go. Jordan, how are you? How's LTB Vikings treating you? Sure, it's treating you pretty good. You and Will seem like you got a good repertoire going back and forth. Will is very active on Twitter. I don't know if you guys follow him or not, but he is pretty active. They actually just finished the show because, you had to take our time slot. That's fine. Stupid Vikings. Hey, you know what? We got 4 years to say that the Browns are better than the Vikings. We got 4 years.
Oh my God.
We'll see you in 4 years.
Still waiting for you to wear that jersey.
No, he wore. He wore.
Did he?
He wore my Brown shirt. He did.
Oh, I didn't. I saw the shirt. I didn't see that. I didn't see the jersey though. I thought.
Nah, I just made him wear a shirt. Mark says it says no injuries, please. However, playing together and getting reps will help. 100% it will help. Yeah. And I'd like to think that they're getting that like in practice. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think that, but I mean, you know how it is.
Well, they were talking about this week on CPD. They said, it's a real shame that we weren't able to see the joint practices because, they got to see for 3 straight days Amari Cooper go directly up against Darius Slay.
Yeah.
Number one versus number one. And, thankfully for us, Amari Cooper they said he was absolutely torching them. So, at least for me, so this is kind of how I feel. So, as far as starters go, obviously I would love to see most of the starters play.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Nick Chubb doesn't need to play. We know what he looks like.
Exactly.
We know how great he is. But I would like to see maybe Kareem Hunt and Dearness get their chance. Jordan, we're not getting into that. I would love to see DPJ get his chance and him get reps with the first team and get his feet wet. Obviously, you need to see a lot of David Bell. You need to have most of the first team offensive line.
I actually did not see what she said on Pat McAfee. I meant to, and I completely forgot about it.
I didn't see it either, but I'm not a big fan of Mary Kay to begin with.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
She is not Tony Grossi, but she is not very good. She is a Browns hater, just like
she has her good moments. I will say that. I will give her credit where credit is due.
Starter.
Yes, and she actually retweeted former LTV Vikings host Jack Day when he broke that what's his nuts was re-signing with the Vikings who play for the Browns. What's his name? Defensive lineman. Yes, Sheldon Richardson. Jack Day was actually the first to report that on Twitter, and Mary Kay Cabot actually retweeted him, said per Jack Day, Sheldon Richardson signing a 1-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. It was a pretty big day for Jack. Doesn't Jack Day just sound like a reporter's name? I said that to Jordan a while ago. Like, oh, this is Jack Day reporting for the Vikings. Jack Day, blah, 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 blah.
See, so Mark,
Mark, why would you do that? Why would you subscribe to that? No.
Well, hang on. If you eliminate Goldhammer from the Really Big Show, that show's really good. And if you take out Grossi, I love the Next Level. I tune into them every once in a while, and I think Matt Fontana as a host is really good too. So there's a reason to subscribe. Just leave Tony Grossi out of it.
Yeah. So let me ask you something real quick.
Okay.
So there's yes, Jordan Grossi is he's that guy, and that's also the guy that he said Jesus Tony. That's who Baker was referring to. I don't know why I just thought of this, but I just did. I would love to hear a Browns game called by obviously Jim Donovan, but I want to hear Hammy next to him.
Yeah.
From the Guardians. How good would that game be to hear those guys calling a game next to each other? That would be great. Because I get excited when I hear his calls.
But you also have to think that may not translate as well as well as a lot of people would imagine. One thing I'll say is one name, Joe Buck. As a baseball announcer, I like Joe Buck.
I don't have a huge issue with Joe
all
Buck.
The time with Troy Aikman, it just pisses me off.
I don't have an issue with Joe Buck a whole lot. The only big time I had an issue with Joe Buck was in 2016 with the Indians and the Cubs in the World Series. That's when I hated Joe Buck, because this man wouldn't shut up about the Cubs, and he was actively rooting for the Cubs to win that series. And that Game 7, dude, let me tell you how pissed off I was. I was cussing, screaming, throwing everything in my apartment. I was so fucking angry. And it was kind of funny is that my neighbor who was next to me was also a Cleveland fan. And we kind of met each other outside after that game. And this dude, he's a real geeky looking guy. You wouldn't think he'd be a big sports fan, but I saw him wearing an Indian shirt and I was like, yeah, go try. But he went like on a tangent about that team. And I was like, damn, okay, this guy knows his stuff. And we met each other outside and we kind of gave each other like a hug, like a hug like that, because we felt so bad and we were so upset. And man, that was a real bad day for me. That was a hell of a year, 2016. Cavs winning a championship, Indians going to the World Series, the Browns won a game. Like, man.
yeah, that's true.
Way better MLB announcer than the NFL. I do agree with that. I do really like Joe Buck calling the MLB. Like, what was that World Series with the Cardinals and the Red Sox? He was absolutely incredible. But I will say I am excited to see Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football just became watchable for me.
It's not been in a long time.
It hasn't. Yeah. And I did not like the Manning cast. I didn't like that at all.
You hated it. You hated it.
I guess I hated it because like I really didn't watch a whole lot of Monday Night Football last year at all, except for when the Browns played. I don't know. I guess for me, it was like, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big fan of what Monday Night Football's turned into at ESPN.
Yeah. So
I didn't care enough about it. And I got tired of watching the regular cast of that game with the Browns. So I was like, I'll turn on the Manning cast. And I was like, this sucks. Like, this absolutely sucks. I'm like,
it was the same shtick last year throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
The interviews would last way too long. Whenever they, Oh, thanks, Mark, for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Hey,
Um,
you're welcome back anytime. Anytime. Been
Absolutely.
great conversations with you. Appreciate you coming in here. Thank you so much.
But I don't know. It is the same shtick. They'd had the guests on too long. Eli would make a joke about how big Peyton's forehead is. They wouldn't really talk about the plays that are going on in the field, and then randomly they
Yep.
go, "Oh, hey, look, here we go," and
Yep.
then make some kind of prediction which they knew was coming, and then it wasn't entertaining. And the guys in the main broadcast were god awful, so that didn't help you
Exactly.
at all.
So that's why I was excited about Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, because like Monday Night Football became watchable. I might actually watch some games this year.
Yeah,
Like that
Sunday night's always great.
Oh, Sunday
With
night's
Al
been
Michaels.
great for so long. I like Al Michaels. I'm not a huge fan of Chris Collinsworth.
I hate Collinsworth.
But
I hate Collinsworth.
Yeah. But if they could have Tirico and Al Michaels together, now I know they're both, they both kind of do the color commentary. So it one of them would have to take a step back from that.
Yeah.
He left for Thursday Night Football with Amazon. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I forget Amazon is doing Thursday Night Football this year.
Changes.
Al Michaels is gone.
Yeah, Tirico took a spot, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a real shame because Al Michaels has been NBC since
Forever.
NBC started it.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to the Olympics.
Yeah.
He was NBC back then, too.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you believe in miracles?
No, but I mean, he called games for ABC on Monday Night Football with John Madden. But I mean, once NBC started doing their football casts again, he's been there. And it's always been nice to hear Al Michaels Sunday Night Football. And it's a real shame that we don't get to hear that, but whatever. He's on Thursday Night Football. I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, a big bag for it too.
Yeah, I'll take that all day. But yeah, I really like Mike Tirico, and I think when John Gruden and Mike Tirico left Monday Night Football, that was really the downfall for me, because I did enjoy Gruden's takes.
Yeah, I did too.
He was good at that job. Let's call a spade here. It might be like a son of a bitch off the field, but I enjoyed his takes in the booth. I really, really, really enjoyed listening to him. So
hey, real quick, because I know we need to wrap up soon, but this is obviously non-Brown. Did you see the whole Brady to the Raiders thing?
Oh yeah, that's nuts.
That's wild.
That's nuts. Which means that when he was on the shop, when Brady was on that show, do you remember? He goes, "You guys want that fucking guy over me?" Yeah. He must have been talking about Derek Carr. That's insane. That is insane. And I can't believe, of all people, Dana White was the one
initiating it.
That's crazy. That would have been cool to see, though.
It would have. Him and the black and silver.
But also, I will say that not Tampa Bay, the Raiders are my 5th hated team in the NFL. So what was the eye roll for?
You have a list of the most hated teams.
You're right. You're right. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 fluctuate between obviously the Bengals, Ravens, and Pittsburgh. All depends on who I'm mad at the time. Right now, the Bengals are number 1 on the list. Yeah, 4 is Denver, 5 is Raiders. We know why I hate the Raiders, we know why I hate Denver, but the Raiders because of Red Ride 88.
I know why.
Fuck them. Anyway, that's crazy. That would have, man, can you imagine Tom Brady playing for the damn Raiders?
He said Gronk too. So you would have had Tom Brady, Gronk, and Darren Waller all on the same roster. Because they had Waller.
Yep.
That would have been wild. But it is what it is.
Yep, it is what it is.
Be interested to see him actually answer for it, though, because at some point it's going to be answered. There'll probably be some generic answer of I'm not really quite sure what you're talking about, or
well,
that was so long ago.
We're on to dealing with Tampa Bay. He's gonna pull a Belichick.
That's right. That's right.
That press conference though was legendary. We're on the Cincinnati. We're on the Cincinnati. Coach, how'd you feel about your running game practice this week? We're on the Cincinnati. Like that's
He's been the same ever since.
dude, that's such a Belichick answer, and I love it. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it. We had a great show today.
Yeah.
I know we were a little worried because not a whole lot of news going on, but I think we found some great topics to talk about tonight, and can't wait for next week. So, guys, we will see you. Should be same time. Should be on Wednesday. We'll see. Barring any setbacks, it should be on Wednesday next week. We'll let you know on Twitter. Follow us at Load the Box Browns on Twitter. Again, this has been Load the Box Browns, brought to you by Unified Athletic Wear. Go to unifiedathleticwear.com for all your athletic wear needs. They actually just got a sponsorship with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, so that's kind of cool. They're making some headlines, so good for them.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, I'm Chris Paxitas. That's Eric Mienko. We'll see you next week, guys. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ooh, ooh.